He had spent most of his waking hours pondering all the various possibilities of what he could or would be doing today personally in preparing his household in order to be better prepared and ready to face the grim unknown of tomorrow. What the hell exactly will tomorrow bring? That was the ever-present and looming quandary he was in. This not-so-simplified self-questioning kept rolling over and over ponderously in his mind. I got to be working on some kind of solution, but I don't have a crystal ball to forecast with, he had already decided. It was really starting to frazzle his psyche to be continually dwelling on this subject. The old guns, guts, and glory slogan from his soldier days wasn't going to solve this problem, and neither would any known emergency management plan he had ever had the privilege to work on. What to do? What to do echoed in his thoughts. Maybe I can read between the lines and get some kind of clue what's going on in the world from the upcoming emergency broadcast radio announcement, Dennis murmured to himself as he turned to check the wall clock to see how much time was left until the scheduled transmission. Damn, I got another 15 more minutes to wait until airtime, Dennis fumed to himself. It was the not knowing that was driving him crazy. What had actually caused the electrical grid to go down? Not that he expected the emergency broadcast would say anything other than a scripted emergency warning message and maybe some kind of reassurance from one of those talking head commentators. The radio played 24 hours a day, and exactly on the hour you would hear the emergency broadcast system go off with that loud beeping noise, and then the warnings and commentator would cut in. You would think by now they could dispense with that loud, blaring attention noise and just get on with the news or preparedness directives. We all know we're in an emergency, and you got our attention, FEMA, so just start talking and quit telling us that this is an emergency broadcast message and how to listen to it. We got it, okay, Mr. Announcer? We mucho comprende already. Much more than we ever wanted to or ever thought we would have to listen to so many multilingual transmissions of the same message. After 3 full days of every hour on the hour listening to that same message drone on and on, it became somewhat aggravating, Dennis mused as he resisted the dumb urge to make sure the radio was going to function properly. Of course it would. He had put fresh batteries in it and checked it an hour ago. The first time he had heard one of those "this is not a test" messages was still all too vivid in his mind.
This is not a test. This is a service of the emergency broadcast system. Tune in to this station for emergency broadcast messages and directions. I repeat, this is not a test. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with the FCC and other federal, state, and local authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. A federal emergency has been declared. I repeat, a federal emergency has been declared. Stand by calmly for further official directions and news. An electromagnetic pulse of unknown foreign country origin has disabled our electrical grid system. Expect long-term power and communication outages, as well as gas shortages for the duration of this event. Do not travel unless absolutely necessary. Stay in your homes and collect clean water in appropriate containers. The President will declare a dusk until dawn curfew over the next few days as the nation prepares to respond to this disaster. Check on your family, your loved ones, and help the disabled. Make preparations to take care of your family for an indeterminate amount of time until the electrical grid can be stabilized and the power resumed. That is all.
Damn right that is all. That is about all they ever said and about all that he knew had happened, other than personally he thought North Korea, Iran, or both of them were probably the culprits and had used some kind of mega EMP weapon on the U.S. Question was, who had done it, and what were we as a country going to do about it? If it was a nuke of some kind, and it probably was, that had been exploded about 50K above the U.S., then Dennis was really more worried about the level of retaliation at the culprits by America, escalating it to a full-blown nuke war of some kind, than he was about the devastation and consequences caused by our own electrical grid collapse.